We are now joined by Ricky Thompson, former Baylor wide receiver, NFL receiver, and sideline reporter for Baylor Radio the day after Morgantown, 4340 West Virginia. Ricky, I put this up, and there were probably other words I could have used, but I said Baylor tonight blanked the bed in a brutal loss. Would you agree?
Yeah, just for the fact that was a winnable game in so many regards, you've got so many plays that you put together that you make any one of those and you win that game, and you do it against a team on the road that's not very good, Smokey. I mean, they made plays, obviously, but they're not that good. And just time after time, and I felt like the whole night, we're going to win this game. I've never felt any different. You know, you have those feelings in certain games that you just think you're going to win. And even throughout with the mistakes, I still thought we were going to win. And just one more mistake, and here you go. You lose 43-40 to a team that you had to beat.
Ricky, this team to me feels like it has no identity right now, that they've lost who they were. Like last year was a physical team on both sides of the ball who would knock you into the turf and make you like it. They don't do that. They don't run the ball like they did a year ago, and they don't defend the run or the pass like they did a year ago.
No, I agree. I think maybe we're finding out just how good Abram Smith really was. That makes a huge difference to have that consistency. I don't think there was a game last year where that dude didn't break a 30, 40-yard run. And we're not seeing that right now. It's not real physical. We got a couple little guys back there. Quaylen Jones, of course, big guy, but he had the fumble that was really costly last night. And, of course, he had a couple of good runs too. Defensively, man, I'm just not sure we're running a lot of zone coverage. I'm not a coach, never have been, but at some point, go to man, blitz, and if they throw it over the top, they do. But we're just leaving things in the middle wide open where if it's 3rd and 5, they were going to get it. They were going to pick it up, and on a fairly easy throw. And I know there are reasons they're doing that, and I'm not sure what they are, but I'm sure they have a reason. But to me, it wouldn't hurt to mix it up and try something different. It's not working. Do something different.
Ricky, what do you see up front defensively to where not even the run was able to be stopped last night? I mean, that if anything, they could, and I know that hasn't been perfect either, but if anything, you could say, okay, well, at least we know they'll stop the run. But the pressure thing, I mean, that's not changed in 6 games. I mean, JT Daniels had nothing to worry about last night, and the one time they actually got near him, he's like, the next play he was rattled. And then he finally found his groove again, but that was the one time they actually got around him, and you saw the effect of it. Just what is going on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Craig. That was Apu. He got in and put a lick on him, and you're right. It affected him. And I don't think there's a quarterback in college football that's not affected when he's getting hit. And didn't put much pressure. I didn't think we brought extra people last night. We left it up to the front 4, and they weren't getting there, leaving coverage deep. So, I looked at that, and maybe if it's not working, change it up. But and run defense, who would have thought that back there would have 160 yards rushing? I would have lost a lot of money on that one. I couldn't see that coming. That was more the surprise than anything. We've been having some weaknesses covering the throw game, as Coach Aranda calls it, but I sure didn't think we'd have a problem on the rushing side. Their best back was out. And then this kid comes in for 168. So to me, that would be the shock on defense, the fact that you let that kid rush for near 200 yards on you.
Baylor has 10 sacks in 6 games, and obviously that's not something we expected, no matter where the pressure was going to come from. Ricky, I put up this stat earlier on Twitter. Last year, Baylor, all the points they allowed were by the opposing offensive team. Now, some could have been after a turnover, and they had to still score. But in the last 2 weeks, they have given up 18 non-offensive points, and last year, all of throughout 2021 and 14 games, they did not give up anything. Blocked field goal, blocked extra point, kicker, punt return, pickoff, nothing. And they've done that now 18 points in 2 weeks. That's kind of a staggering number.
Well, it is, and it's a game changer. It's just one that completely changes the momentum of a game. Remember, we go down and score, go up by 6, 37-31. You think we're going to put the point up, which makes West Virginia go down and score and kick the extra point to tie the game 38-38. And we get one blocked, and the guy, of all things, gets a pop and returns it, 87 yards, I think, for the 2. And, man, that's just so costly when that happens. And then Chapin, bless his heart, I thought he played well. He stood back in the pocket. He took time. He hit receivers downfield. Gavin Holmes redeemed himself from a couple of drops, had over 200 yards receiving. But then you get the sack on him. He fumbles, and they return it 65 yards for a touchdown. That's a killer. Think about it at that point. We were about to punch that ball in, and I fully expect that we would have scored the way we were moving the ball at the time. That makes it 24-10. Now you're 17-17. That is a 14-point swing. Not just the fact that he ran it back, but it's on a drive that we were about to score. So to me, that one play alone is 14 points and the difference in the ball game.
Ricky, what do you do with this extra time if you're Dave Aranda this week?
Good question. I think, as I did last week, I thought it was a good time to have the extra days. I know you need him for Chapin with the injury. Hopefully you get him back. But I just think you go through that film as they will as coaches. And that's one thing I think Aranda has been really good at is making the adjustments, finding out what the mistakes are, getting these kids into that mode where they're playing smooth football, and they just haven't gotten there yet. It seems to be a lot of the same mistakes over. I know he's frustrated with it, obviously, but you've got to fix that, or you're going to lose a lot more ball games in the same situation. So I'd spend some time on special teams for sure, and then make my adjustments. Probably more defensively than offensively. I think we kind of know what we are on offense at this point and what we can do and what we can't. Defensively, I'm not sure that they do. I think there's some things there that maybe need to be adjusted because you still got a lot of players over there, guys. I mean, the cupboard's not bare.
Ricky Thompson with this Baylor Radio, former Baylor wide receiver. I know you can't do too much or give up too much, but did you have a chance just to see how Blake Chapin was doing once he was back on the sideline and also maybe as they made the trip back? And secondly, what's the demeanor of the team? Is this a team that does get frustrated? Or are they kind of like Dave Aranda where they just kind of veg out a little bit? Maybe they're pissed off inside, but you just can't see it.
Well, yeah, I think they're pissed off. I could tell after the game that they were, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I think you need to be pissed off. So in that regard, yeah, they were upset. Talked to Byron Jackson after the game, and just such a polite kid. And we had an interview with him and finished, and I looked at him. I said, man, what do you think, Byron? And he just, I won't repeat the exact words, and they weren't ugly. It was just the point that this he's pissed off. So that's good. Chapin looked fine to me. Now, I've seen concussions, been around him. I know he took a lick to the head. He looked fine after the fact to me, and he looked fine when he came back out. I'm going to be really surprised if he doesn't play next week.
Ricky Thompson with us. Baylor Radio, former Baylor wide receiver, was there, turned it around, got back to Waco, and already doing his deal for the day. Thanks for your time, Ricky. We appreciate it. Enjoy a weekend and get some rest.
Thanks, guys.
Ricky Thompson with us, 365 Sports.